Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to another start of the weekend. The equipment is recorded, it's ready to go for another match day tomorrow. And this is the show that takes you from the week and delivers you into the weekend in association with away day beers. I'm looking, and it's certainly great weather for a beer. I've got one lined up, ready to go on the 8:40 weekend klaxon. I'm looking forward to tonight. We've got some great little bits and pieces from the press conference that Kieran McKenna gave to the local press. We've got the week that's been. Obviously, it's been a very busy week in the life of Ipswich Town. Next week will be even busier with a league game midweek as opposed to a cup game. We had the cup game. Richard Keogh signing, still no striker. And, of course, MK Don's coming to town tomorrow. I can see both my contributors are wheelchairing away in the heat, respective areas. George is in his big brother diary room shed, and Crunch has moved himself to the garden. I wish I could move myself to the garden because in front of these green screens, it is mightily, mightily warm. So I thought I'd come dressed in my PJs, ready just to sit back and unwind as we go through. Before we go any further, if you are not a YouTube member or a Ko-Fi supporter, then please do consider becoming one. You are missing out on an absolute busy perk, which is called a Discord server. We have got a Talking Town Discord for those that support us through Ko-Fi or our YouTube members, and it is really busy. So busy, I think even the Cruncher struggles to keep up with it. It is a constant, fast, moving chat, ranging from beetroot to where's our striker to everything else in between. There's no limits on this chat. Of course, we even had Matt Phillips with a cheeky aeroplane selfie today as he's on the way to Scotland. Links in the chat on how to do all that. Please do consider getting involved. I haven't had the winners of the shirt come forward. Both have sat on their hands, as it were. So there will be a live shirt draw again this evening. Yay! I hear you all say at home. But yeah, we'll be doing that. Another 2 winners we drawn out of the hat. But Eddie Smith, not Eddie Royal, he was in Colchester United's dream team. Eddie Smith won our MK Dons tickets. Congratulations. I do believe he's come forward. And looking forward to seeing you at tomorrow's game. Right, a few comments first. Nick Miller's in the room. We've got Matt Stannard, Mike Baker, Stephen Parry, all present and correct. Checking in for the evening. And still, good evening, everybody. Hope you're well out. Hope to see you tomorrow by the Sir Ralph statue. I will have Mr. Neil Moles with me tomorrow, and is his UK stag do. Well, I say he's UK. The first part 1 was in Newcastle. Unless they've moved it, it's still part of the UK. But this is part 2. We're going for a curry in the evening, but we have a few beers before and after. So if you do see him, commiserate him on getting married. Adi Croucher, good evening. Hope you're well. Mighty D, evening from sunny Southwold. Just back at the cottage. There's some lovely cravats in the hut. Oh, okay. Oh, very fancy. Very, very fancy. We do have some middle-class people that watch Talking Town. Emma, I don't even know what the C word was he was trying to portray in that sentence. Better now I'm free from COVID and looking forward to getting my season started. Thanks tomorrow. Lots and lots of people. Right, let's go ahead and bring in a regular on our Friday night shows. He's always here. Well, not always here because last week he wasn't, but most of the time he is the Cruncher. Richard Moss.
You're talking utter fucking.
Hello, mate. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm in the garden, chilling, mate.
Good man. I like that. I like that.
Candles on the go. The missus is out to a party, so it's all good.
Your missus is out all the time.
Well, there you go, mate. I'm at home.
She's got more. She's got more parties than anybody else. So no, I love it. I love it. Wish my social diary was that full. Instead, I'm here talking football.
Your social diary's got a very important date in it at the end of August.
End of August, next week? You mean this time next week?
No, the big date is on the 29th of August, Bank Holiday Monday, because you're coming round for a barbecue.
I am coming round for some food poisoning.
We've got him out of Stowmarket, everybody. He's actually.
Well, I wouldn't count your chickens until they hatch. That's all I'm going to say on that one. But yeah, I'm glad you're with me. In fact, this is your second show of the evening. How did show 1 go for you?
Well, I had a few IT issues, but I love talking to Aidan and a guy called John on there, and obviously Colin, who we had on, is never short of a word or two. Martin, he's fairly lively. He's fairly lively. We got talking about beautiful looking men. So we had Will Grigg, and then we got into Louis Barry's hair, and then Matt Stanner was watching Marcus Harness's eyes. Have you seen Marcus Harness's eyes?
Oh, they are piercing.
Oh my Lord! So he had to get it up on his phone, and then we showed it. But yeah, really good chat, and hoping they're coming to the statue tomorrow. I think they're going to come and see us.
Sports analyst, best man on the point from me. It's Kai. I'll be at Bury Town. Hashtag United. So we're looking forward to be disappointed again. Hope the town wins. Thank you very much, Kai. We appreciate it. 449. Thank you ever so much. Nice pajamas, says Lloyd. These are not pajamas, are they? Come on.
No, they're available at the store.
They are. They are.
In fact, you get some shorts with them.
No, you might do. I didn't get shorts sent to me, but I mean, you can all take out your pajama-related jokes on the designer because he's going to be here in about 30 seconds' time. So direct all questions
in the
to
shed. It's not in that shed tonight.
Well, he's going to be, but how long he will last in that shed? Because poor Wednesday, he kept dropping himself out just so he can go and get the hose pipe.
Jesus Christ.
It was brilliant. Before we go any further, I got a lovely parcel today from Away Day Beers. You're an Away Day Beers monthly member, aren't you?
Yeah, great. Love it.
So what do you get when you get your monthly package?
I'm trying to still shift a couple of Cantonised collars, so when you come round, I might let you and Matt Phillips have them.
It's a little bit strong for me, that Cantonised
That is
collar.
very strong. I think that's his strongest beer, 6.7%.
Yeah, that and Butcher's Bandage. Oh, what are you on tonight?
Down the Gullet.
Oh, down the Gullet. Okay. So when you get your monthly box, what do you get in your monthly box, Mr. Moss?
So obviously get 6 beers. Normally get a football-related magazine or a newspaper. Sometimes you get you might get a sticker. You might get one of them little figures.
Get a coaster.
I got a coaster last time. But all good stuff. Brilliant. For about I pay $25.99. I think that's the. I think I'm the suit. It's the super sub one. I think is that the top one.
There are a couple of monthly subscriptions available. We do have our own coasters, which I'm sure our designer will show you when he comes on in. He's flashing me the coaster that is in the VIP area. But yeah, I got a coaster today with mine, and I got a magazine called Late Tackle. I thought of you instantly because you're all about giving a late tackle. No, that's not a euphemism. And the non-league newspaper, and I got. Now, excuse the colours, but Son of Santos. It's in a yellow and green label, which thankfully my green screen doesn't like.
Yeah,
anyway.
I've read that. Son of Santos. Good stuff.
I picked this out this morning because I wanted to ask you about Giovani. Now, obviously, you're a bit older than me. Just how mad was it that we had Giovani dos Santos at Portman Road?
It was just weird, wasn't it? When he signed, I remember because I went to Reading. That was when he made his debut. I think he signed on about the Thursday, and it was like, we were sort of scrapping around. They're probably in about 9th, probably not going to make the playoffs. And then all of a sudden, this guy rocks up from Tottenham, Giovani dos Santos, and he's probably one of the best cameo loan spells that I've probably seen. And I'm thinking, what is he doing at town? How have we got this?
Everyone
I always remember his debut because it was he made his debut at Reading, and that was when John Stead scored that fantastic overhead kick. In the red kit. But look, he was a great signing. He obviously scored the last time he beat Norwich. Giovani dos Santos scored from the penalty spot.
He did.
So
he did. But
great player, but he was only going to be a cameo, like 8 games.
But I remember thinking this was the start of transfer windows where every player was like dos Santos, where the doors were now open, the money was in the bank. This was the good time to turn it. But it quickly went from Giovani dos Santos to Luke Varney.
Yeah, Luke Varney done a good shift at town, didn't he?
Not quite dos Santos, though, is he?
Well, no. Was it a 3?
No.
Was there 3 loans? Was he 3 loans, Martin?
He was 3 loans, yeah.
He was always the one. There was one near the end of the window, and you're scraping around for a player, and Reg rocks up again. Yes,
yeah, absolutely. After telling him, thanks, but no thanks, he'd rock up. Josh Russell, dos Santos, what a player. Right. 8:40, our third contributor is on the back end of this, but it is officially the weekend, ladies and gentlemen, so it's time to crack this open and have a fresh one. ITFC Legends Pack. Make your weekends flow from $14.99. Georgie Nunn. There he is, the one, the only, the pajama designer.
Oh, look alright as pajamas. I'll take that.
I'm wearing them, so all good. Listen, right, you also get a glass with it. I'm not going to show you the glass because I've just poured the worst pint I've ever poured.
Yeah, I see that.
It's got more red than I don't know what to do with. But George, welcome in. You are live across the globe, and you're in the Big Brother room. Tell Big Brother what is on your mind, George.
It's not as warm as it was on Wednesday. That's the main thing. I've had the door open all day, so I'm right.
Lush. Look, a new week is here, which means a new weekend of fantasy Premier League is in action. And I wanted to have a word with you because you seem to know something that I didn't last week. Because you put in Haaland, and I didn't put in Haaland. And he had a debut that albeit West Ham's defence was about as good as I don't know what. But what did you know about Haaland that I clearly didn't?
Well, I don't know, the same as the rest of the world, apart from you, apparently.
I went for Jesus, but it can always come good. Have you seen a better debut though?
I think I've said no. He was quality, wasn't he? And that's why he'll stay. But I think in my team, I think I said to you before. I always do these fantasy teams. I think I did one last year, and I'll pay attention for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then although my boss did ask me how I got on Tuesday over the weekend, and I hadn't checked. So I've already, obviously my interest has waned slightly, but I
can tell you what you did. 59 points. The average was 57. You're on the second page of the table. You didn't get many points for Murphy at Newcastle. Got one.
He was my cheap option though.
Van Dijk got bullied by Mitrovic. I had Mitrovic. I thought that was a masterstroke, George. To be fair, I thought that was a really
one game in. Calm down.
Yeah, but you can say he'll get goals in this league. He'll get goals. This is the league that sort of
3 last time in the Premier League, so he's got 2 already.
Better player though, and he's a better player. He's a much better player. This is the league that made Grant Holt look good. Let's be fair. There is a role for that big centre forward, George. I just wasn't prepared for how big Haaland was. Like there's some proper genes in that family.
He's a big old fella, isn't he? Yeah.
Man's a unit. And he's obviously a gorgeously blonde looking bloke. Like he's got a strapping great bloke, gorgeous locks.
And he swore twice in his interview after the game. Brilliant.
It's like when Ian Holloway said,
Martin. Have you put him in this week?
I haven't, no. But it reminded me of the Ian Holloway quote where he said about Cristiano Ronaldo, about the gerbils nuts, which obviously was a classic Ian Holloway quote. I'll try and find it later. I'm not going to try and give it to you verbatim now because I don't know it, so I'm gonna get it wrong. But we are live. It is a press conference reaction show. Kieran McKenna did meet with the press. I'm gonna kick the show off, George, with a little bit of Richard Keogh. Richard Keogh, I think we'll start with that. The week started with Richard Keogh, so we'll lead with Richard Keogh. So Kieran McKenna had this to say, and I'll ask you both the same sort of thing. He said, it is something that we looked at from the summer and a profile that we wanted to fill. The teams who are often successful at this level do have somebody of that nature, experience. Very often there's an experienced defender in there who can contribute in key moments and in key games and in key points, but who can also contribute to the culture of the whole squad. That's what Kieran McKenna said about Richard Keogh. Lots of question marks about where he's going to feature. Is he going to feature? That type of quote. Does it suggest to you, George, that he's coming to not collect the pension and sit on the bench? He's coming to really make a mark and almost start.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it on Wednesday, didn't we? I don't know who drops out at the moment for him, but it certainly implies that he's not in to just sit around and collect a few quid until he becomes a coach and retires. But it'd be interesting to see. Do you know, when I was doing my team, and this is completely tangential to what we're talking about, if he plays and if he is wearing the number 2, if he replaced Donatian, as we talked about on, I think it was your suggestion, wasn't it? Gov, I can't remember. It was. We'd play with our 1 to 11 if they get the team tomorrow. I wonder when the last time that happened in any game of football since squad numbers became weird. Anyway.
In the days of squad numbers, not often. And Cruncher, that big word again, profile, it seems to be the word of the month at Portman Road. But, that along with Adi Crouch's suggestion here. Keogh's in a good addition as Mogger, number 2. They're big boots to be filling for any player, particularly one that's at League One level. That culture, that standard, that profile. What is he going to bring to the party? Now you've had time to digest it and listen to what Kieran said.
Well, I thought at the time he was a good signing. I thought it was. Look, he's played 700 games, Martin. He's played nearly 30 games last season at a higher level, which I think sometimes we need to sort of realise that we are a League One team. I know we don't like it. I know we don't want to be here, but we are. I think once he gets in the team, if he stays fit, I think he'll be nailed on to start every week. And I see him playing in the centre, Martin. I see him playing in the centre. And I see Wolfie shifting to the right. And I know people won't like it about Donasian. He's done really well. He's had a really good partnership with Wes Burns. But Wolfenden's going to be in the team. Edmondson will be in the team. I think that's your back three. Not going to be tomorrow. It won't be tomorrow, and it might not be on Tuesday at Burton. But I think in the next few weeks, I think he comes in the team, and I think he's got the experience, Martin, that we need at this level. We've let a goal in a game. We're only conceding 1 goal, but we've let 3 goals in so far. And he brings that experience. He knows what it takes to get out of this league. He's a leader. Harsh on Donasian if he did get dropped, But Keogh, he's got plenty left in the tank, I think.
And the thing about that 1 goal, that's a good point about the 1 goal.
Sorry, George.
No, I was going to say it's a good point about the 1 goal. Good 1 goal again, because until we start scoring goals, 1 goal is a lot of goals to concede.
Exactly.
It is when you create your chance creation, which we'll come to a little bit in a moment, is low. Won't start tomorrow, says Rich. Now, Rich is obviously an ITK. I'm not going to question what he thinks, or what he doesn't think. But I'll put it to you, George. With 5 substitutions, the days of, if you start him tomorrow, he's got to be 100% because you've got 3 subs, one of which is an injury for a goalkeeper normally. So you've got 2. Those days are gone. You've got 5 subs now. That if he lasts even 45, if he lasts an hour, that's fine. You make 1 sub, you still got 4 to choose from. I would, if your plan is, your grand design is to go with any permutation of the 3, I'd start tomorrow. I wouldn't waste any time.
Yeah, I think the thing that immediately I'm slightly concerned about, I guess, is if can he play 90 minutes week in, week out, and if he can't, and he becomes someone that we plan to change, and he's going to play in the centre, and we plan to change our centre back in the middle of every game, and if that's assumed that's Wolfie coming from the right into the centre so that Donasian can come back to the right hand side, I'm not going to shout at Wolfie too much if he's a bit less consistent than he has been over the last few months, because he's constantly going to be chopping and changing what position he's playing in, which I can't imagine is going to be too helpful to him. So I think I don't expect him to start. He might, but if he can play 90 minutes, then great. But I'd be slightly concerned if he's a 60-minute. Equally, he's not going to be an impact sub, right? So we're not going to bring him on after 70 minutes, although maybe for the set pieces. But at the moment, I'm still struggling to see where he fits in if he can't play 90 minutes week in, week out, but maybe he can.
Mike D reminds me of when we signed Taylor from Newcastle. Let's hope he stays fit. The fitness is a question already. Because, he did miss the first 2 Blackpool matches this season. But McKenna said he settled in very well, exactly as we would expect. First, as a person around the building, not just the dressing room, but even the building in general. A great person, very humble, very empathetic, good communicator, young and old staff members as well. He's trained in 2 sessions. So he has trained, and you can see straight away his qualities, his experience, the way he communicates in training sessions, and the habits that he has that have helped him to have such a successful career. So he has trained, Rich. He has trained in 2 sessions, has missed the first 2, obviously. But
he did say might be a little bit too early for him, like Lee Anderson did say back there in the chat. Look, I wouldn't expect him if he comes in, he's playing 60 minutes and he's going off, because he played nearly 30 games in the Championship last season. I know he's had a little groin niggle, I think, earlier in pre-season. I think he's over that now, Martin. So when he's fit, I think he will come in. And it might be harsh on somebody, but we've got to be ruthless this season. We can't be saying he played well last season, Donasian, which he did. We've always got to be looked to
11th.
try and improve, haven't we? Try and improve the team. And if it means somebody has to sit on the bench, so be it.
But he's best. This is it. And this was what I was saying about Selena, George. Before it was all, should we sign Selena? Should we not? His best last year, JD. Selena's best last year was 11th position in League One. Like everything, as I kept saying in the summer, is up for debate. Nobody, it maybe except the goalkeeper, had a safe seat that they should feel comfortable wasn't being looked at by the recruitment department. And now you've got some really good options and on those back lines to really sort of play around with it. Yeah,
I mean, I think we said in the summer that the back was probably where we needed bolstering least, but there's no arguing with the fact that we needed, we could do with some experience at centre half. So I think I've got, like I said on Wednesday and I said on Twitter on Monday, I've got no complaints at all about Keogh as an addition, and it causes us a good kind of headache from a selection perspective. I say us, McKenna.
Well, no, it's all us. It's all us.
But yeah, I think it will be really interesting to see how he's used it over the next few weeks and for the rest of the season. You're absolutely right. We can only judge the squad on where they finished last season.
Don't worry if it gets darker. I can use this.
You're going to tell us a scary story.
Oh God, no! Please don't. Jason, I bet. Jason, I think it's all about having a senior player in the squad. Training. Don't think he'll play much coaching role for him after a year. Now that was the calm before the storm. Then Colchester United happened. McKenna did touch on that one. Crunch. He said the players had their 24 hours to recover physically and mentally, and I think everyone knew that the biggest game is coming on Saturday. And it was important that everyone's eyes were immediately switched towards that. So no, the mood in the group has been fine. He was asked about the mood in the group. Obviously, everyone would have liked to win on Tuesday. I was disappointed with the outcome, but we know where the priorities lie, and we know this football and game come around very thick and fast. Now, in the Discord chat, there's been little bits of, will it be a hangover? Is it the start? Little bits of just, worried. You've been saying, calm down. It's all good. Chill. And McKenna today coming out and saying they're over it almost. I've forgotten. Done. What do you make of McKenna's sort of comments there?
It's obviously disappointing because it's a game we've lost and we're playing lower league opposition, Martin. But the important thing this season is the league. It has to be. It's number one priority. And if we're at the statue tomorrow at 5 o'clock, I was going to say 5 to 5, but there'll probably be, with the weather tomorrow, there's going to be a lot of substitutions. I think there'll be quite a lot of injury time, probably drinks breaks. So we'll probably be there about bloody 10 past 5. But if we're all there with 3 points and we've got 7 points from 3 games, Colchester will have all forgotten about it. We will. Yeah.
Carl Brooks, George, 3 points tomorrow. No one mentions Tuesday's result again.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right, and everything that McKenna said is absolutely what you'd expect him to say. Immediately after the game, he said, "Yeah, well, we've got other things to focus on," and he's absolutely right. And Crunch's right. Our focus has to be the league, but it was last season, and it was the season before, and it was the season before that, and the season before that, and every other season that we've failed at the first hurdle in every cup competition that we've had for the last however many years, 11 years. So. Yeah, I get it, and that's obviously the thing that they're going to say, but it's a bit tiresome, isn't it? It's quite difficult to say we really wanted to win this game, but at the same time, we don't really care that we didn't win this game. Something's not ringing quite true there, but absolutely right. If we win tomorrow, then we're on track, aren't we?
It's a little bit of, for me, George. Well, I didn't want to get invited anyway, so I'm glad I'm not coming to your birthday party. Like if we'd won it. Brilliant, but we didn't. So it's a bit, everyone knows it ain't important. It's not important, is it? A bit like that for me.
Yeah, but that's exactly what you say. You're not going to expect him. He's not exactly going to come out and say, "Oh, well, that's the season done."
Yeah, that's it. Pack up. Let's go home. Well, end it in August. Now, what is ending in August though? Like this again, question to you both. Player judgments. He mentioned this today in his press conference. Obviously, fans would have walked away from Tuesday night with player judgments set in stone about any number of players. I won't mention names or nightmares or numbers. But there you go, a little tell for. But he happened to say this today. I would never make any snap judgment on a player over the course of one game. It's a football match. Things can happen. Mistakes can happen. So we're reviewing the players constantly. Every day in training is a chance to impress and lay down an impression of yourself onto the coaching staff and onto myself and the coaching staff. One game is just a part of that, but that's constantly under review. That's always the process that we follow, and we don't make any snap judgments off one game. Is that manager speak? Or is he trying to big up somebody in the press here by saying, look, we ain't going to, don't matter about a mistake, doesn't matter what you did there. It's about everything, the whole body of work, not 190 we're taking into account here.
That's leadership, isn't it? I like to hear stuff like that. And as much as you can accuse someone of cliche or platitudes sometimes when they say stuff like that, it's the same with, we don't really care about the cup anyway. It's what the players want to hear. It's what the fans want to hear. And as much as you can dismiss it easily, it's better than coming out and saying, yeah, XYZ balls that right up, otherwise we'd have been fine. Or if such and such had put all their chances away, then we'd have won 2-1 or whatever it is. And we said on Wednesday, mistakes happen, you miss chances, all of that. And it doesn't matter how old you are or how long you've been playing the game. Those things are going to happen. And we're 3 games into the season. So, of course, they're going to happen. Players are still rusty, and some of them are still just getting up to speed. And Leif Davis is having a rude awakening to League One, I suspect. But all of that stuff, he's going to give away penalties when he gets frustrated and is in that big environment, the new environment that he's not been in for a long time, and is still half jet lagged from coming back from Australia for 6 days before, whatever it was. Like all of these things, and that's exactly why I want our coach, our leader, whatever, to be saying, and I'm sure we'd hear exactly the same from Morsey if he was asked a similar question. It's of course he's going to say stuff like that, and of course it's really easy to say, but that's just manager talk. But there is a slight difference between manager talk and leader talk, and I see that much closer to the latter.
Yeah, I kind of balls that question up because he says what he said. He said what he said, and that's what he meant. But I was trying to ask a different type of question, and I got a little bit of head rush there. A bit like somebody else in our 6-yard box come Tuesday night, Rich. I got a little bit of a head rush, and I lost where I was.
That's the kind of thing you're not going to say in a press conference.
He's not going to come out and hammer players and say Harper was shit. Humphreys missed.
I didn't say Harper.
That's what shows like this are for, because we can do it. The manager's not going to do it, is he?
No, but would anybody have from Tuesday enforced or changed his opinion in any way, right or wrong? Do you think? Because Tuesday was a Rocky Horror Show?
We could have won 5-0 on Tuesday, and it wouldn't have mattered a jot because the team tomorrow would have still been the same.
That's an interesting one. Do you think so? Do you think if we'd go on, George?
No, I was going to say that there's an element of that. I think he probably would have swapped everyone back into the league team as we have at the moment, because games are going to come thick and fast, and we've got a few. Obviously, we're going to whittle them down very quickly, but we've got a few cup competitions to worry about. But I disagree slightly, because I think if we'd won 5-1 on Tuesday and someone had scored 4 goals, then that person probably would have been elevated slightly in his mind in terms of, we're lacking goals. So maybe we're not going to assume that he's going to score 4 goals against MK Dons, but he might get on 5 minutes earlier just in case.
It's also, isn't it also, George, Rich, George, either one of you, just about, public opinion, because it was a conversation in the Discord chat about a player. I can't remember which player it was, but if you were to do an MK Dons of last year and put in somebody tomorrow, I don't know, let's say he pinpoints Raheem Harper as having the athletic ability tomorrow to really unsettle the MK passing.
You're on about Jackson. That was what you were on about, weren't you, Martin? You were on about Caden
Jackson. It was
Jackson
earlier in the Discord. Yeah. I like tomorrow, if you see a Raheem Harper on the team sheet, there's going to be 22,000 people edgy before the whistle's even kicked off, because so far many have not seen enough from him or Jackson or whoever it might be that is in the conversation to get that public confidence, Rich.
But it's down to the manager. He believes in these players. So if he selects whoever, it's a little bit like when we were at the Statue last season for the Sheffield Wednesday game, Martin, and El Mazzuni. He's gone out on loan to Orient today. He was in the lineup and we were all really taken aback. But then he had quite a decent game. So, yeah, but tomorrow when we see that lineup, it'll just be probably what it was last Saturday, I'd have thought, with Wolfenden coming back in. If there's any other changes, I think if Harper's playing tomorrow, I think we will be surprised.
Do you think, I know what Richard said there about, if we'd won 5-0, George, it would have been the same team regardless. But do you think behind closed doors, obviously, McKenna and Pert, when they have the debrief Wednesday morning, they're a little bit angry, a little bit upset that nobody Tuesday night decided to take the bit by the horns.
Their job when in a press conference is to placate the press and the fans that are watching and reading the press and watching stuff like this in the evening when we break it all down. We will never ever be party to the conversations that McKenna and Pert and McKenna and Ashton and the owners have, because we won't. But
no.
Well, Crunch might. But you know, but that again, that's leadership. Just like the players won't be unless and until it is absolutely necessary to sit a player down and say, look, this happened this game, it happened again the following game. We gave you some time off. You came back. You did it again. What's going on? Like we can only coach you so far. And again, we won't be party to that, but people will be brought into those conversations when it's right and good that they should be. But of course, I would be disappointed if Pert and McKenna weren't having slightly more cerebral conversations about how our games go on a Wednesday morning after we've just lost 1-0 to Colchester, because of course they are. That's their job. If they just went, we only care about the league anyway on a Wednesday morning, then I'd be more concerned, to be honest with you. But we won't know. And who knows? Somebody might have impressed them, and they might have gone in and said, do you know what? Despite the fact that he gave the ball away for the goal, Raheem did all right. You know, he showed something that
he was prime Perlo, Mr. Nunn.
You can say that.
Prime Perlo.
But you know what I mean? You get my point. I'm picking on Raheem, and I don't mean to, but I'm, he or whoever is going to be in consideration equally. And I think this is what I like, the idea that everyone is going to be in equal consideration every week, but that's not as straightforward as you had a blinder this week, so you get to stay next week.
Tomorrow, George, Sam Morsey goes down after 5 minutes. Who comes on? Raheem Harper's got to come on, so we've got to get behind him because he might be needed tomorrow.
I'm his biggest supporter, man. You won't find somebody who loves him more. Absolutely. And I've been on that train since the start. I've been driving that train. Raheem the Dream is going to be player of the year somewhere, somehow, some year. He will be. I promise. I promise you. It was so look, there's been a rumour, and I have picked up on it, that the postman Thursday morning couldn't carry the love letter that Andrea Pirlo had written to Raheem Harper based on the first 25 minutes, Rich, that he was prime Pirlo.
He a lovely ball, didn't he, to Greg Lee? That was him who played that ball, wasn't it?
It was.
And then he came in.
And I thought
everybody makes mistakes. Good. Everyone makes mistakes. It was like, but when you were taught to play football, George, what did they say to you? Never pass across your own penalty area. So
they said never play football again, George. Yeah, exactly. You don't do it, but everyone's going to have that rush of blood. Everyone's going to make those silly mistakes, and I suspect they probably gave them a sly look on a Wednesday morning. We're like, if not after the game, and we're like, come on, dude. And he knows he doesn't need it. And this is the thing: he's a professional footballer. He doesn't need telling not to do it again. If he does it again the next time he plays, then we could be slightly more concerned about that he's not learning. But I've not seen him do it yet, so there's no reason to think I'm going to see him do it again. It's just one of those things, and to be honest with you, I have much more of an issue with the fact that the entire team couldn't put it right for the remainder of the game than I do, because it's not like he did it in the 87th minute and we didn't have time. We had plenty of time to put that one little mistake that one player made right. And he would have if any of the players turned to him and said, come on, Rick, if you hadn't made that mistake, we'd have done all right in that. He'd have every right to turn around to them and say, no, we wouldn't. We'd have drawn 0-0.
So I've just been sent a picture by Richard Moss. He's sat there by candlelight. Bless him.
Like a cauldron. That's like a cauldron I've got on the go.
You could literally get the guitar out and start singing Kumbaya. Matt Stapp, 124 people watching, 34 likes. We need some more burgers, please. We certainly do. Get liking the show. Cole Sheed, we need Macaulay Bonville back to leave the light. He could leave the line. I think he means with not the light, but
Macaulay Bonville.
Yeah, I think he means we need Macaulay Bonn back to lead the line. He could. But I'm not quite sure. So we'll move it on to a striker, actually, because That was mentioned in today's press conference, as it has been every second of every minute of every day this week on social media. The boss had this to say: from Freddie, Marcus, Tyrese, Connor, or any of the forwards individually, you always want to get off the mark. But I think all of them would also say they would happily take the 3 points whether they scored or not. It's always about whether the team create chances as a team. Whoever they fall to is not so important as long as we score and get 3 points. True. But if the window was to shut Monday morning, Rich, and no striker was through the door, would you're shaking your head already?
No. Look, I know. Look, in theory, that's great. Look, we don't care who scores. If you're Freddie the Dapo, you want to get off the mark, Martin, as soon as possible. You know, if he has another 2 or 3 games and he hasn't scored, yeah, fair enough. Town might be doing well, but he's probably thinking, I'm under a little bit of pressure here. Look, we need a striker. I think everybody knows on here that we need a striker. On social media, even Kieran McKenna, Mark Ashton, they all know, Martin, that we need a striker. We can't go into after the window's closed with the front line we've got, because Freddie the Dapo gets injured. Caden Jackson, he's 120 odd games, Martin. He's got 20 goals. We don't want to be pinning our hopes on him. Tyrese John Jules, who's a young lad, I think he's going to be great off the bench. I don't see him starting. I honestly don't at the minute. So we need to get that George Hurst, Stockton, whoever it is, Macaulay Bonne. We need to get him in the door as soon as possible.
Do you think he sort of revealed a little bit of the tactical there? Because I said earlier on Discord, George, it's really hard to sort of quantify or qualify what our strikers are or not or aren't doing well in the system. We don't know what there are. We don't know what the whiteboard tells them you need to do. Is it just to occupy the 2 centre halves? Is it to be the last man in the box, Fox in the box? It's a bit hard to say. But did his comment kind of lift the lid a little bit for you, where he said, we want them all off the mark, but they'd say whoever scored, they'd be happy about it. He said it was about the team and creating chances as the team. Is that what it's more about, actually? The centre forward occupying the 2 centre halves and the collective having the chances? Because we've had 2 strikers now, George, and neither have had what I would call a barrel of chances.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. We won't know what each of the players' roles are on the whiteboard before the game, but I guarantee that none of the thing that isn't there is scoring goals. Like someone is supposed to be scoring the goals, whether it's the strikers or whether the strikers are supposed to be busying defenders so that the midfielders can pop up and score the goals, or the defenders can score goals from set piece. Whatever it is, one of the things that you'd be pretty sure about is that they are being told, score more goals. So, it's tricky, because I was just thinking about the Dapo then, and it's one of those things. It's not helpful when we have conversations, and of course we're going to have these sorts of conversations because we're fans, and that's all we do. Unhelpful that we now do it on the internet every week, but it's not helpful when we talk about the fact that the Dapo is, in all likelihood, we're looking for a replacement, somebody to be first choice in a choice of 1 in our current starting lineup, which probably doesn't help with his self-confidence, because he knows that at some point in the next 2.5 weeks, someone's going to come in who we have the intention of starting in that position. But at the same time, you could argue that, well, he should see this as an opportunity until they come, that he should be banging them in, because he wants to give McKenna a headache when this other person turns up, whoever it might be. Who you're going to choose. So it's really tricky, and it's really tricky to know what the message is that he's got. I suspect it's come on, Freddie, or whoever, you're going to have to get off the mark. You're going to have to, score some goals, because everybody knows, it's not a secret that we're after another striker. That you've got to make it difficult for that person to walk in on day 1 and slot into this team.
That's a really interesting point, actually, because the pressure you apply to yourself can never be greater. It can be greater, full stop. You always are your worst critic in anything and everything that you do. And it must be really hard, Rich, as George has just said there, that tomorrow, Freddie Ladapo is going to put his boots on, put his socks on, and it's another chance for him to impress a manager that he's fairly new in knowing, and he hears the noise. He hears we need a striker. We need to pay what could be 2-3 million for a centre forward. That's a lot of pressure. A lot.
But Lee says in the chat there, it's a nothing story. Worry about Ladapo after 10 games. But I think Ladapo needs a goal. He'll know that himself. You know, strikers.
No one's suggesting that he's not. I have no doubts about him. He's a proven goal scorer, but it will get on any player's mind if they're not performing or if they're making little mistakes. And with strikers, they have that added thing where they are expected to score goals, and nobody else. Like Martin and I have this conversation about Morsey every week. Nobody's expecting Morsey to score a hatful of goals. He's getting himself in the sorts of position that looks like he could start scoring more goals, and has been since the last 10 games of last season probably. But like, people expect the Dapo and the other strikers, the other forwards, to score goals, and I think that's always going to make it harder for them mentally. And I think this is why Kevin Minch's role at the club is so important, whoever it is that does that role. Sports psychology is such an important position now in club, whatever you call it as the professional, but effectively making sure that you understand everybody as individuals and they all understand themselves as individuals, and whatever it is that gets on their back when they're playing or underperforming or whatever it might be, or worrying about someone coming in and taking their position, can sit them down and try and help them through that.
I've got a question for you, George. Do you think they say they don't like read newspapers, social media? You know, like Freddie Ladapo, is he sitting there at night scrolling through his phone and he sees, oh, Town need a striker, or is he just totally oblivious to that?
I can't believe that any of them are oblivious to it. Not for any reason other than nobody's oblivious of what's going on in and around their company, and everybody. I guess in that position, particularly, you probably Google yourself, but you pay attention to your business. You pay attention to what's going on, and particularly in the transfer window, because you're probably concerned about moving on as much as anyone else, but as anything else. But if you've been somewhere for a while, but if you're new in, I suspect he's sat at home searching for all the same things that we do on Twitter, but hoping that we haven't signed George Hurst or whoever it might be, because you don't necessarily want that competition. As much as players come out and go, we love a bit of healthy competition, I suspect Conor Chaplin probably breathed a sigh of relief when Selena went to Greece or wherever he ended up, Turkey, because it would have been more competition for his spot. So again, we'll hear one thing in public and they'll be doing something completely different in private, I'm sure.
Now, yeah, that's kind of it for the press conference. Quotes that I've pulled out. Mrs. Gov has had a minor op, so I've been very busy most of the days. That's all I had time to really sort of dig in and have a look. Last 15, I thought we'd have an open conversation about tomorrow. It's going to be a hot day. Two teams that impose their will on teams.
I'm worried about your dress code tomorrow, Gov. What are you wearing?
I'm wearing next to nothing, Sam. Don't worry about me. I've learned from the first week. I'm going to be coming in.
You're going to be frying over in that cobalt stand.
No, you don't fry in the cobalt stand. You chill. You, as you'd like to say, in the cobalt stand. You just enjoy the football. But I thought we have a conversation about tomorrow, because I think it could be a case of win the ball, keep the ball. Whoever has the ball the longest wins the game, because it's going to be a really hot affair, and making your position, Rich, run as much as you can is going to be the aim of the game. Yeah,
they dominate the ball as well, don't they, MK? So I think the pace of the game will be interesting, Martin. I think it'll be quite slow. I honestly do. You might have like little bursts, but we don't want to be chasing the ball. Substitutes tomorrow are going to be key. They've got a few injuries. When I was on with Colin, I said, Colin, he got his excuses in the other night, didn't he? He was saying, we got this player, that player, that player. So we should have enough tomorrow to beat them. I honestly think, I'm not worried about tomorrow, because MK will come, Martin, and they'll come and try and play football. Then they won't come and try and park the bus. Liam Manning, that's not in his manner. Although I do think Matt Stannard's got a good one. He's going to call, when these teams park the bus from now on, after Jay from the in-betweeners, it's bus wankers from now on. Any of these teams come to Portman Road and park the bus. But MK won't do that tomorrow. MK will come. They will try and play football. and I think that'll suit Town down to the ground, and I think we'll win the game, Martin.
Yeah, obviously Don Ball remains out on the sidelines, George. So you fully expect Morsey and Evans to be the midfield two. Rob Smith says, let the ball do the work, should suit our style. Carl says, first goal tomorrow is so key. We don't be 1-0 down to a team that can keep the ball as well as us.
Yep, I want us to get at them. I know it's going to be hot, but it's going to be hot every week this time of year. If we haven't prepared for it being hot, I know it's going to be hot, but if we're not ready, if they're not fit, if we keep hearing how fit they look, they're going to get drinks, they're going to get breaks and all the rest of it. I want them to get at them, get in front early, as we talked about on Wednesday. I want 2-0 at half time, 3-1 overall. We can chill out in the second half if we want to chill out. But if we sit back and are like, oh, it's going to be a bit hot today, so we probably just want to ease off a little bit, they'll come at us. If they see the opportunity, they'll come at us because they're a football inside, and any football inside will do that. So I think, and they'll be drilled to be ready for that. So I think, I want McKenna to get them playing this brand of football that we keep saying, that he keeps talking about playing. Get out, get at teams early, and get ourselves in front. Prove that we can do the things that we keep hearing that we can do: score goals, and play teams off the park, regardless of how they play. I don't care if they park a bus. We need to figure out how to play around these bloody teams and score goals. And we can score goals in different ways with the sort of quality that we're told that we've got in the squad. So I'd really like to see us get at it and, not overdo it, but I don't think we should ever overdo it in a game of football. But we just need to show that intensity that we've been promised and get ourselves in front early.
I think it's absolutely right, Rich. We often play, as we were sort of saying in the Discord server, that it's like a training. It's like a training routine where I often did it myself as I was manager of a football club. It was everyone must touch the ball for it to be a goal. So you'd get to the point where you get down to the left-hand side and they'd realise the right winger hasn't touched the ball. So you'd watch it literally go back to midfield, back to the left back, back to the centre half, and across. And that's almost how we play too often. It's very much, oh, shit, no, we've not all touched the ball. Quick, reload it, go again. Got to have that opportunity.
They can't score a perfect goal.
The Arsenal.
Yeah, we are like Arsenal, pass the ball. We will score some really good goals this season. Will we score enough scruffy goals, Martin? Because they all count the same. It don't matter if you have 25 passes and one you just ping a ball in the box and it goes in off someone's backside. They all count. But we will dominate teams this season. We will dominate the ball. Tomorrow, probably not so much because they're a good side. They're a good footballing side, MK. We need to realise that, but we should have enough, and we need to make, like Christian Walton said, I was listening to his interview earlier, they do trot out that phrase, we need to make Portman Road a fortress, Martin. We've already dropped 2 points against Bolton, and we have. It was the first game of the season, but we still dropped 2 points. So tomorrow, we don't want to come out of the ground at 5-5 with a draw. We need to come out with 3 points, and if you get 3 points, you've got 7 points from 9. We go to Burton Tuesday, and that's another winnable game. It really is. If we want to get out of the league, we need to put points on the board. We need to create that winning mentality, which we haven't got. But this is what we need to do. We need to win tomorrow. Then we need to go to Burton and back it up and stack up them victories.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, I'm going to add 3 songs to the ITFC Talking Towns playlist tonight, because I didn't do it on the Burton show, and I'm going to add a couple more on Monday. I'll ask you both for an entrant yourself. I'll come to you. No. You've got a bit of time to think about it. Don't worry. You've got a few minutes.
I'm just going to put my head down and be on Spotify for a minute.
Yeah, go for it. We've only got a couple of songs in there at the moment, so don't worry.
Is the home one, or are you doing a different one, home and away?
No, it's going to go into the away one, just because I forgot to do it on the Burton show, because I got too excited that Colin was the co-host with me, so I just want to do it, so we keep it up to date. But before I go any further,
Colin's not Spotify, that's what you're saying, and you're not going to put no songs in for him.
I didn't say anything. But before I go any further, there's lots of comments in the chat, like Turbotic has put one in. How do we get on the Discord? By getting on the Discord, you just have to be a YouTube member or a Ko-Fi supporter. It's a perk of supporting the platform. You can support it from £5 a month. Links in the chat, and then a link will become available to you to join our Discord, where we talk about all sorts of things, including beetroot, George.
Beetroot.
Including mostly beetroot, from what
Mostly beetroot. Always beetroot. You wait until I put the old question there about the Jaffa cake. That's going to come eventually. I'm wheeling it out. That's my party piece. Is it a cake or is it a biscuit? That's the question. Don't answer it now. Wait for the Discord. Couple of comments. We've got 2-0 from Colin Plum tomorrow. EJ says we'd love to walk the goal in the goal in the net. I think he means the ball, but he could also mean the goal. Who knows how many has Colin had over in where's Colin live? Actually, don't say it live on the internet. Actually, don't.
Near Bury.
That'll do. AD says Cruncher could choose Star Wars as he now looks like the Darth Vader. I am your father. So, all right. Score predictions first for tomorrow. I won't ask you, Rich, because you'll get yours on the match day show. Whereas George, I can't guarantee I'll grab him as he walks past. I will try. I will certainly try. I will keep my eyes open for him. But what's your score going to be tomorrow, George?
I think I said Wednesday. I think I said again a minute ago, 3-1.
3-1. I did get both your teams in, but I'm not going to bother with them because they're both the same, and it's really paint by numbers this week. That anybody else that has got a town with registration didn't do enough Tuesday to show anything to be in the team. Let's be brutally fair. Lee Anderson says 0-0. Lee, I expect to see you by the Sir Ralph statue before or after the game because that is a diabolical score prediction. I do not like that one bit, Rich. I do not like that. Are you taking a 0-0, Rich?
He's pulling your leg. No, I'm not taking a 0-0.
No. But how is he pulling my leg?
He's pulling your leg. Lee thinks he'll win. Lee's positive. He says we've probably got the best squad in the league. He said it last season.
Yeah. Tuesday night showed that, didn't it? Right, songs for the playlist. What have we got this week then, Rich? What are you going to put into the Talking Town?
I'm going to go for Bob Marley.
Oh, I thought you might.
Three Little Birds.
How ironic. Three Little Birds.
Because we sang that, didn't we, when we were relegated?
No. You might have sung it when we were relegated. I certainly didn't.
Year 4, we're still here.
I didn't. I'd left by that point. George?
Mine would be Mr. Blue by Catherine Feeney.
Okay. All right. Wow, that's a bit of an out there. That's not one of the 4 I had written on my bit of paper that I thought might be selected.
Given that you gave me 45 seconds notice, you're going to get to see the inner depths of my musical taste.
This is what I've got. You can choose this one. I've got either Nelly, Hot in Here, right? Summertime by DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Oh, good song. Heat
Is On by Glenn Frey.
Oh, come on, George.
Casey and the Sunshine Band, Baby Give It Up. Because if you change Baby Give It Up to Neil Moles, that's the Neil Moles song. That's what people sing to him because it goes with his name. That's why I put that in there. Which one should go into the Talking Town playlist this week?
What's wrong with my choice?
It's going in.
Give them to me again real quick.
Nelly Hot in Here, Summertime by DJ Judgy Jeff, Heat Is On by Glenn Frey, and Baby Give It Up by Casey and the Sunshine Band.
It's gonna have to be Heat Is On.
Heat Is On. All right, Rich.
Neil Moles song.
Neil Moles. All right, so the choice is mine.
I'm putting Nelly tomorrow night at the Curry House.
We can. I'm putting Nelly Hot in Here in because that's come on. So hot in.
You just asked me and Nunny, and then you've picked your own song.
Yeah, I did.
What was the point of that? I mean, come on.
I did. I might put them all in. I've got the power. That's the good thing about this. I have the power to basically inflict my shit music choices on you lot. This is epic. I've always wanted to do that. Rich, you're not the Undertaker. Put it down, mate, because we don't want to call the fire brigade. Rich. Yes. No. Neil Moles on fire. The Curry House is terrified, says Matt Stannard. There we go. What an absolute laid back, random show tonight has been. George, how have you found your first debut on a Friday night?
I feel privileged taking over from Mr. Phillips. So I thank him for the opportunity. It's been good fun. It's been really good fun.
Big shoes, which are never mentioned in the same breath with Matt Phillips.
I punch up, not down. Come on, Rich, behave yourself. Right, become a YouTube member. We are live from the statue. When tomorrow, Rich, can they find the cruncher, and his bum bag giving out autographs.
We'll be there. That never happened, that didn't. The bum bag.
No, I know, it should have done that.
Can we make it happen? Anyway, Eddie Smith's coming down from Hastings. So he's won them tickets. He's coming down tomorrow. So he'll be meeting us at Sir Alf. And if you want to get in the draw for Barnsley and you want to come and see James Norwood, you can get in the draw, Martin, because it is now open.
I'll pass. I mean, I've got to be there because I've got a season ticket, but had I the option, you had me until you said about coming to see us. He won't be there. He'll be injured by then.
Well, maybe. He's been playing.
I mean, Ditz has already been injured at Derby.
Has he started yet? Has he literally?
No, he's been injured.
There you go.
I was listening to the radio Derby on Tuesday, and they were talking about how he's, been bit by the injury bug, and I thought, that's the McGoldrick we all remembered. Bless him. But there we go. Right, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow. But it is the start of the weekend, and hopefully, pints and points. Subscribe, like, get involved. See you tomorrow. Even George is coming.
You make me smile when I think of you. If I am down or when I am blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. I woke up all soaked in sweat, weird chills running down my neck. I thought went crazy from just the thought of you.